And like I tell anybody, I was in a, in a cab or Uber tonight, came back to the house, telling the guy, so listen, a lot of things that people, he said, you're a blogger, because Uber has the business, you're a blogger. He's like, man, I don't know who to trust. A lot of people don't know who to trust when you open platforms. And I tell them, listen, if a guru or a blogger can give away the secret sauce, 24/7, that's not something I'm going to do business with, because they're just telling you what they want to tell you. Because at the end of the day, all these bloggers get paid for being on these platforms. Me personally, I don't care about none of these platforms. I care about the people more than anything, because I'm the people at the end of the day. Like, I understand that, just because someone's on live or just because someone's on Facebook or YouTube, whatever it can be, like, you still have to vet these people. You just can't be jumping on these live feeds and thinking that they're giving you, the world's best information, and they're not. At the end of the day, a lot of this information, you can actually research yourself. A lot of this information is not that hard, So a lot of times they'll be on these blogs, and then before they give you the answer to whatever it is that you are seeking, they want you to sign up for their course. It's like, what the hell? Like, aren't we in the information age? Like, why are you always trying to, fix their course and things like this? So that's not what you're going to get here. The Josh Hartnett Show is for people who want to get information in real time. That's number one. This show is... All right, guys. So sorry about that. We had the camera that we're using just died out, which I had no control of just now. I didn't even know it. It has no battery thing on, no battery percentage on it. So sorry about that. So if you guys are joining me back, once again, thank you for joining the Josh Hartnett Show. Tonight's show is all about business. It's all about credit. It's all about advanced techniques for you guys to be a little bit more savvy with running your campaigns. If you are a business owner, entrepreneur, go-getter, and you are having problems with your campaigns and you guys need some assistance, please call in tonight. We're doing a live call. As well, you guys can also drop down in the comments below any kind of questions you guys may have about running your campaigns and things like this. So definitely take advantage of it. That live calling number is 718-500-8705. Once again, that live Q&A call-in number is 718-500-8705. So you got any questions about building your credit? Do you have any questions about business and strategies and things like this? And the main thing, especially if you have any questions about marketing, how to get your brand going, how to get how to get your sales up, how to get in front of more customers, how to retain customers' information, please call in. We'll give you guys some good inside information that we're actually putting into use and that works at the end of the day, right? All right, let me just do this real quick. Since we got disconnected, I want to make sure people are able to log on and get to the show. Oh my God, we're just adding some more people to the page. We just got disconnected, so give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, so we got disconnected. The battery died out on the last camera, so we just switched over to the other camera just now. So let's get to it. Now, so the other part that we were talking about is obviously fixing your credit first, and then the second part to that is let me turn this down. So like I said, the battery died, so we want to make sure that we get back on here and finish up what we got to do. Once you go live, things like this always happen. So just make sure you guys stay on it. If you guys have any questions, like I said, reach out to us directly. If you guys don't have any questions, we're gonna finish what we were just talking about, even though we got disconnected. All right, so cool. So now, like I said, the main thing with building your credit, the first thing that you want to do is actually clean your credit. So if you're not cleaning your credit, then you're not doing the right steps. So the first thing you want to do is clean your credit. We know the key components. One, inaccuracies, right? Second, make sure that your name is spelled correct, and if it's not, make sure you update it properly. The other one is going to be not inaccuracy information, but collections. Anything that's closed, anything that they're collecting on, anything that's reported, any payments that you made and you know that they're reporting, not the right time frame that you actually pay the bill. Any kind of accounts or any kind of reporting information that you know for sure is not yours. These are things that you just like, boom, want to jump on top of. Second, the hard things that you guys want to take attack of, like tax liens and public records and all this kind of craziness. This is where you want to. This is the tactic that you guys want to use to actually resolve those things, right? So not only do you want to dispute and get all that stuff handled and do it the right way by writing on those documents, and not just doing it typed in. You also want to make sure that you guys are using notaries, all right, or a notary to legally say, boom, this is you, timestamp it, got a witness, right, and then boom. Number 4, you want to make sure that you do everything that's certified mail, so you have to timestamp because this is the investigation process. And not only that, everything is also done by a computerized system. So you need to have that physical timestamp. You need to make sure that they're, everything is done on that investigation. And if they don't fall in that investigation, you need to have a follow-up letter to enforce, to let them know that everything was not handled under that time frame. It needs to get resolved, right? And you need to enforce it. Now, number 5, to get a little bit more advanced. All right, so now, sorry about that. Now to get a little bit more advanced with everything, like I tell everyone, you have to get control over your credit, over the credit bureaus, right? So how do you get control over these companies, right? Because not only are they reporting, inaccuracies, or they don't know even what they're reporting at some point. 1, 2, you could have your name spelled wrong, different kind of addresses. The company that's reporting on your credit report could be showing up in like 3 different names and like all kind of craziness. So what you want to do is, obviously you see it, or you hiring someone to actually see these things. You want to make sure, 1, that they know how to handle these things, right? And then 2, you want to make sure that you understand what it is that you need to get done. So when you let the credit repair person do it, or if you do it yourself, actually know how to go about doing it. Okay, so when we're dealing with derogatory information like school, medical, tax liens, public records, child support, any of these hard derogatory things, you have to know what the process is to stop these companies from reporting on your credit report. Because if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to fall victim to they're just going to do what they want to do. So how do you gain control on your credit report about who can get your information and post on your information? So 1, like I said, clean your credit report, dispute, update your address information, get everything removed, update your name, make sure that you dispute any accuracies to the max. Now the second part is, when we're dealing with derogatory information and they're going all willy-nilly on your credit report, the main thing that you want to focus on is that you get a dispute done, and then within the first month or second month, or towards the end of the first month going into the second month, you want to freeze all these accounts. Once those investigation things are going through and it's hitting the system, you want to freeze your account after that, because you don't want people just to go in and out of your account all willy-nilly.
That's number 4. Number 5, you want to enforce it even more. So you want to make sure that you guys are coordinating with the Credit Fair Protection Bureau. That's 1. Making complaints there. Whatever they can get resolved, whatever they can come off, make sure you enforce it and get that done within 14 days or 15 days. I think that's the time frame. And 9 times out of 10, they have a huge success rate with getting certain matters handled, right? So you want to do that. Number 6, you want to be even more aggressive by opting out. Remember, the credit bureaus are just the 3 major credit bureaus. Those are the major ones, right? This is where everyone basically use. But what happened is you have to understand how things are being ran. These companies are outsourcing to other companies to figure out information about you, right? This is what's the underneath process of why your credit report is reporting the way it is. It's not about the credit bureau, the main popular ones. It's about the ones that people don't talk about. There's 14 other furnishing data companies that you got a rent one, you got a mortgage one, you got all different other furnishing companies that's reporting or can report once your credit bureaus may reach out, or your merchant that you probably did bad business with, or whatever the case may be, that's reporting your credit report. They're using these other companies to verify the data and to make sure that it's true, and then the 3 major ones are reporting it. So what you want to do is opt out of the other 14 credit bureau companies or furniture data companies. That's 1. And number 2, you want to opt out with all the major ones like Nexus, Lexus, and Sage and all this stuff. You want to opt out of their program and then freeze those accounts as well. You want to put a freeze on those, right? So not only did you freeze the major 3, you also freeze the major 14. Not only that, you freeze it to a point to where they just can't go in and out, right? Now another thing is that a lot of these companies where you guys have to be mindful of that they're also, not saying they're in cahoots, but they kind of work together. It's very easy for them to kind of like do what they got to do. So you have to understand how the reporting process works. How do the credit history and things like this is actually handled, right? So that's the main thing you guys want to focus on. If you guys don't understand that, the easiest way I can say this is that it's all computerized in most cases. Now you have your manual, parts of whatever it is that they're reporting, but in most cases there's a company called Oscar, which is, this is basically the company that's doing all the reporting and updating to some degree as far as what has to go on there. And that's the thing that you guys have to understand. Like, so by freezing and by opting out, this is the best way of gaining control for your credit report. All right, so that's the most effective way you guys can clean your credit report. Let's get back to the other part, which is going to be the main thing. So let's say the first 14, 15, 16 days you dispute your ass off, you do what you got to do, make sure everything is on point. The next thing that you want to do within the 30th day to the 45th or 60th day is build your credit. So all your disputes is going through, you backdate your information, you got everything notarized, you got your copies, you got everything certified mailed, you own a neck, right? You updated your name information, you cleaned out your address information so now they can't verify certain things, and then you opt out, right? And then last but not least, you freeze the major 3 credit bureaus, and then you also opt out and freeze the 14 other furniture companies, right? Great. So once again, the fastest way to get to a bag is to clean your credit report. By me doing the first stage of this, my score went up to 120 points, which is awesome, right? And what happened next was I wasn't even expecting this shit, but the crazy part was, what was the company name? Basically, a government company still had access to my credit report, slapped on what they want to slap on, and dropped my score to 100 points. So not only did I just go up 100 points on one of my credit scores, I went up maybe 70, 80 points on my other 2 credit scores within a matter of 2 weeks. And then that government department was able to slap whatever they wanted to slap on it and knock my score back down. So now we're, these strategies, like I said, these aren't strategies that I'm just telling you about. These are strategies that I'm currently using, because if you're not going to stay on point, not say stay on point, but if you're not, that's me or you? Oh, yeah. If you're not going to be able to stay in the fight and understand how to fight, that's the reason why we're getting slaughtered out here. Because when you really think about it, if they're not going to come chase you down or they report some inaccurate information, guess what? They're not really looking at what's the long-term effect of someone not being able to get a house or a car or a good interest rate. They're not thinking about that. They don't care. Even if it was an accident, even if it was an inaccurate reporting, even if it was accurate, right? There should be some type of remedy that can be more immediate. And a lot of people fall into the funnel of getting things, bankruptcies and things like this. Like, that's not the ultimate way to go, because they changed the law on a lot of things where you have to pay back certain things. So once again, the main thing that you guys want to do is do all the remedies that we talked about, and some of the advanced techniques that we want to talk about is using the Credit Fair Protection Bureau complaint, right? So you go online, you go to the Credit Fair Protection Bureau, you want to do a complaint, you want to have all your records, right? Because you got to do the dispute process first. And now you have all your information, and even if you got a rebuttal, right? So in the 14 or 30 days, they say, okay, it is verified. You go back and tell them, no, that's not my address, and I already updated with Experian, and they also send me the freeze information. So how can they do anything of the sort of updating any kind of information? You know what I'm saying? So they can't do that, and we know that they can't do that. And the Credit Fair Union Protection Bureau know that they can't do that. So now we on their neck. We're going to write another letter and get that shit handled. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want to fall victim to these people, or to these, departments, and the way they go about doing certain things. You don't want to fall victim to it. You want to be able to fight and fight effectively, to where we can get away from these people and get back on game, as far as moving how we need to move, and getting these homes and certain things situated. Because if we're unable to get in a position that we need to get into, we're not going to get where we need to go. That's basically at the end of the day, right? So we really got to focus on, getting where we need to go ultimately, because that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can't get certain things off our credit report, if we can't get in front of the problem or handle it, or at least dispute what we need to dispute effectively, we're not going to really, land anywhere. And that's the sad part, because the information I'm giving away should be, this is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, like, for real. And people have to understand, like, don't take this stuff for granted. This is real information. This is real livelihood. Like, people are really, this information is so useful that people have to understand, like, I'm giving you real game to change your life, to change your situation. Like, your credit is, like, the most important thing besides us breathing and having blood in our body. Because if you don't got a good credit score, you can't do nothing. Even though you got cash, that's cool, but cash don't really tell the person that you're dealing with who are you financially. It just means you got money, right? So maybe if you do a one-off deal and you got cash, yeah, maybe you'll get away with it. But in most cases, the average person you're doing business with, they're thinking about business on the long term. So what they're thinking is, if you can't sustain a credit portfolio that actually represent that, they don't want to do business with you at the end of the day. That's it is what it is. And you got to think about it. If they own whatever it is that you want to get involved with, they have the right to deny you consistently, back to back, no matter where you go. So you guys got to really understand that credit is the most important thing. All right, so moving along, we have, let me see here. So that's credit. Now, the other part that we want to get to is going to be about how to build your credit effectively. So it's not about doing one thing over the other one. So if you've already got great credit, cool. This is going to be for you. If you like, yo, listen, my credit score is popping, this is for you. If your credit score is cleaned up and you need to know how to build or establish credit, this is for you. If you don't have no credit at all, this session right now is for you. So here we go. So how to build credit effectively, and how to build credit up to $50,000. Now, every last person who has a credit score, in most cases, have a residence. And if you have a residence, that means you probably was renting or you have a mortgage. This is going to work great for you guys. So you guys want to go to rentreporters.com and sign up with them, right? And then what happened is they'll backdate 24 months of all your payment history. Boom. So in most cases, if you spend $1,000 a month, that's $12 for the first year, and then $24,000 for the second year. If you're spending $2,000 a month or $1,500, and that's just like, that's damn near double. So now you're getting back about $30,000 to $48,000 reported back on your credit report. That's one. Other companies call it Jasper, Tumo, right? Tumo. The other one is Kickoff. The other one is going to be, Crown Jewelers and My Jewelers Club. And you have My Coast Direct. Then you have Grow Credit. And then you have Credit Strong. You also have some secure cards like Capital One, Discover It, Apply Bank. I think the other one is One Credit. These are, secure cards that you can actually partner with once you use the no credit formula that we just gave you, right? So from Rent Reporters all the way down to Jasper, to Kickoff, and Credit Strong and Grow Credit, you want to use those companies first, and then you go into the secure card part. But this is the trick. A lot of people who get secure cards don't understand that little $200 don't look good. So you want to make sure when you do a secure card, you want to make sure you go there with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on that secure card, right? And even though you're going to take a hit for the first 2 weeks and then it'll be active for you to use, do it, because not only do they want to see that you partner with the right type of company, they also want to see what's the credit limit on that credit card or secure card. So when you actually building out that credit portfolio, remember you got to have 17 lines of mixed credit. So you need to have secure cards, you need to have installment loans, you need to have revolving, you need to have store cards, you need to have department stores, you need to have variety, right? So you need to have mixed lines up to 17 different lines of different types of credit, so you guys can build out your credit portfolio. You want to have 100% payment history. You don't want to have no late payments, right? This is the game. This is the roadmap. These are the rules of the game. No late payments. Make sure your payments are on time. Make sure you have a credit card for anywhere from 5 to 10 years of good history. Make sure you add some AUs. Make sure you have some trade lines, right, for 10 to 20 years, right? Boom. Make sure that you control these primary trade lines as well. Just don't give anyone money to do it for you. So use the companies that we talked about. We talked about Rent Reporters. We talked about Jasper. We talked about Kickoff. We talked about Credit Strong. We talked about Grow Credit. We talked about what's the other one? Crown Jewelers. We talked about New Coast Direct. We talked about Credit Karma. You want to use all these companies so you can actually build out your credit portfolio. Like the companies I just gave you is well over $50,000 worth of new lines of credit. So you want to do that first, and then second, like I said, now you want to start building up secure cards, right? Boom, get a secure card for $1,000, or get a secure card up to $5,000. Boom. Now you want to start moving forward. You remove content. Post. Hold on, guys.